Prince Harry and cutthroat assassins. Breaking news. The fanatical plot to harm the Duke of Sussex involves a long-standing grudge that harmed the Duke's grandparents. The online images of violence towards Prince Harry's grandfather are propaganda by the plotters harming the prince. The loosely disguised images show daggers and swords stabbing the 8th Earl in the head. The plot against the Spencer family has lasted many years, and Prince Harry's family are at risk. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are relocating to the UK and their children will attend British schools, but Prince Harry's family, including his uncle Earl Spencer, will not be safe until the plot is exposed. The plot to injure and rob the Spencer family involved causing Prince Harry's grandparents to divorce. Frances was Prince Harry's maternal grandmother. Her second husband called himself Peter Shand Kidd. He took Frances to live on the remote Scottish island of Seal, where few people would see them. The married Frances was seduced and deceived by the man who called himself Peter Shand Kidd. Jonathan Guinness has spoken openly about the fact that he used the false identity of Peter Shand Kidd to deceive, seduce and marry Frances, and was stepfather to Charles and Diana Spencer and their older sisters before Diana became Princess Diana. But until now this fact was not publicly known, and importantly Charles Spencer, the 9th Earl, did not know this fact when he wrote his 2024 memoir, A Very Private School. Charles Spencer credits the man who married his mother and became his stepfather as Peter Shand Kidd. He doesn't write, "My mother was lied to by Jonathan Guinness, who used the false identity of Peter Shand Kidd, and Jonathan tricked my mother into marrying him, and my mother died an early death thinking her second husband's name was Peter." However, Charles Spencer does describe his mother being obsessed with her second husband, Peter Shand Kidd. Victims of intimate betrayal, such as the situation of prolonged coercion, where one is defrauded by a narcissistic lying husband, will typically suffer anxiety and alienation as they struggle to access the truth. Online images of Jonathan Guinness typically have had a nose job, and this one is no different. Because of the nose job on the image credited as being Jonathan Guinness, the Earl's photo of Peter Shand Kidd is a more accurate image of Jonathan Guinness.
Well, I've now found out the truth.
Prince Harry has been lied to regarding the self-appointed RAVEC, Royal and VIP Executive Committee. Who these people are and what their hidden agenda is has not been made accessible to the prince or the public. RAVEC states its role is to decide security arrangements for royals and VIPs. Harry trained in the military, he knows what his needs are, he's a born royal, he's the monarch's son, and he should be given protection in the way he requires it. Prince Harry doesn't know that the Royalty Protection HQ at 16 Old Queen Street is used for money laundering, shell companies, and offshore tax evasion in the British Virgin Islands. It's doubtful that Prince Harry knows that his police protection officer, who sometimes uses the name Paul Phillips, was involved in an attempted murder and aggravated burglary of this couple on the 8th of May 2026. And the reason Prince Harry's police protection officer committed these crimes against this couple, David Yarrow Griffiths and Carol Jamie, is because this couple have tried to communicate with Earl Spencer regarding the historic and ongoing crime being committed against him and against his nephew Prince Harry. Crime includes the fact that Jonathan Guinness used the false identity of Peter Shand Kidd to deceive Earl Spencer's mother into marrying him. Also includes the fact that Earl Spencer's step-grandmother, that he knew as Barbara Cartland, was the Coronation Street actress Doris Speed. And Speed was the face of the brand of the Barbara Cartland romantic novel, which were written by a team of writers. Also includes the fact the Lloyds Bank brand called Bank of Scotland, that's not a bank and doesn't provide mortgages, have put a charge on Althorpe House and forged Earl Spencer's signature. And the Lloyds Bank crime against Earl Spencer includes collusion with the government's agencies, the Land Registry and Companies House. Since David Yarrow Griffiths and Carol Jamie have written to Earl Spencer regarding crime against the Earl, Lloyds Bank and the government's Land Registry have colluded against the couple, and a fake Lloyds brand Bank of Scotland mortgage has been put on their London house, and this forged and defective document accepted by the Land Registry. And Lloyds Bank are robbing this couple the way they're robbing Earl Spencer. In January 2026, Prince Harry was accompanied to the High Court by the police protection officer who would go on to commit the attempted murder and aggravated burglary against the couple David Yarrow Griffiths and Carol Jamie, who were trying to warn Earl Spencer. Prince Harry was in court regarding a protracted case against Associated Newspapers that had gone on for several years regarding press intrusion. Image of the abusers, Mr. and Mrs. Porch, with schoolboy Earl Spencer from Charles Spencer's memoir. After recognizing the Porches and knowing they had used aliases, Carol Jamie wrote 4 times to Earl Spencer before hand-delivering a letter to the Earl at Althorpe House on the 31st of August 2025. Carol doubts Charles received her letters. Following Carol Jamie and David Yarrow Griffith's trip to Althorpe House and the delivery of their letter detailing crime being committed against the Earl, Associated Newspapers, the company Prince Harry was in court with, ran an entirely fake news article about Carol Jamie and a fake probate court case that never took place in order to set up a criminal plot to rob her of her house. This would be the 3rd house the criminals have stolen from the couple via fake court processes. And this shows collusion between Associated Newspapers and the British legal system. Marianne Faithfull was Carol's mother-in-law, but there had not been any High Court case and there had been no genuine probate procedure whatsoever. Probate cannot be conducted in default, and the correct probate claim form, the N2, would have to be used. And no one can lawfully claim to be an executor and have a right to take Carol Jamie's house. But following this Daily Mail fake news article that effectively set up a criminal probate procedure, a criminal called Nia Worry from a solicitor's called Clark & Sons falsely claims she is a High Court appointed executor for Carol Jamie's house, and she has illegally started probate proceedings to take Carol Jamie's house. And this is with collusion from Leeds Probate Registry and the Land Registry, and extends to Nia Worry forging this warning to a caveator and Leeds Probate Registry refusing to explain their acceptance of the unsealed forgery. And this is blackmail, which is theft and a police matter. A forged will could be accepted just as easily. Probate and being an executor provides criminals with a reliable income. The inside page of a very private school provides copyright details. Copyright of all photographs taken by the author's father reside with the author. The copyright of the remaining photograph resides with the author's mother's executors. It seems very unlikely that Frances would leave copyright of family snaps with executors, and photos of her family should be in the care of her family. For 47 years, from 1967 to 2024, who Frances's family really were was a closely guarded secret, and even she didn't know the truth. Jonathan Guinness has made sure that images of him as Peter Shand Kidd, husband of Frances, have been kept private, and now they are under the control of executors. Prince Harry's protection officer is a central figure in the crimes committed against Carol Jamie and David Yarrow Griffiths. His face and head are shaven when he's with the prince, but otherwise he's bearded. On the 8th of the 5th, 2026, with 14 other men, Prince Harry's police protection officer weaponized this illegally used and potentially lethal kinetic breaching ram and used it to seriously injure David Yarrow Griffiths, who is now deaf with central nervous system damage. This is the victim's footage after the front door was blown in, and Prince Harry's police protection officer can be seen pushing his way in and coming up the stairs.
You've hit me! When you bust the door, you bust my glasses, you've hit my head. You've now injured me. I'm waiting for the police. Get out of the house!
Move back and we can talk.
No, you move back! You move back! Move back! No, you move back! You move back, you thugs! You criminals! You criminals! You smack me in the face!
The prince's bearded and tattooed protection officer can be clearly seen. The Metropolitan Police have refused to investigate the attempted murder and aggravated burglary. He uses the name Paul Phillips at the Royal Free Hospital in Hampstead, London, where he is or was a trustee and security manager. His biography states he has extensive protective services career as a Royal Military Police officer. Split screen left shows Prince Harry's protection officer shaven and escorting Prince Harry to and from the High Court. Right shows Prince Harry's protection officer arriving at Carol Jamie and David Yarrow Griffiths' address where the attempted murder took place. All online footage changes the officer's appearance, and this includes making him shorter than Prince Harry. In reality, he stands about 6 foot 3 inches. The right side of the screen shows the criminals arriving at the victim's address. You can see the kinetic breaching ram being held there, and you can see the police protection officer, his back towards us, his arm tattooed, his face bearded. To his right stands a man carrying what's called a hooligan bar. It was Earl Spencer's memoir that made this image of Jonathan Guinness using the false identity of Peter Shand Kidd available to the public. Prior to 2024, any images available of the so-called Peter Shand Kidd were not images of Jonathan Guinness. Because Peter Shand Kidd is an alias, the biography attributed to him is fabrication, and the account of his family, such as his son, the alleged artist Johnny Shand Kidd, is also fabrication. Another Daffyd Jones image depicts Jonathan Guinness with 2 fake Guinnesses. Valentine is known as Mark Slater. Jonathan's location is Wyfell Grange. At the time of this image, and later at the time of her murder, Wyfell Grange was the home of Jonathan's target, Angela Yarrow Griffiths. Oxfordshire County Council has records allegedly showing in 1939, with Britain newly at war, Captain R. Shand Kidd obtained a Wyfell Grange valuation, and another in 1940 when he allegedly purchased Wyfell Grange. Medicine was used to murder Angela Yarrow Griffiths. She was conned by doctors at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading into having 2 10-centimetre metal stents inserted under the false pretext they were a cure for indigestion. The one that was loose in her stomach cut through her stomach and pierced her heart and killed her. The assassins targeting Prince Harry and his Spencer relatives are the same people who murdered Angela Yarrow Griffiths. They work as doctors and misuse medicine and used multiple aliases. Brothers Desmond and Jonathan Guinness. Desmond Guinness used the ID Dr. Finbar Cotter at the Royal London Hospital as a consultant in AI and oncology. Desmond and Jonathan's mother was called Diana, and she married the British fascist Oswald Mosley. Desmond and Jonathan's mother and stepfather and their maternal relatives were personal friends of Adolf Hitler. Desmond and Jonathan Guinness both spoke of their resentment towards the British, especially the English. They are resentful their mother and Oswald Mosley were interned in Holloway Prison during World War II, and resentful that no school would accept them because of who their parents were. Since 1945, they and their family have remained committed to Hitler's and Oswald Mosley's teaching. The publication of photographs in Charles Spencer's memoir are vital to identify perpetrators. Unfortunately, Spare, Prince Harry's memoir, doesn't have any photos. This is not a genuine photograph. Earl of Spencer is not a correct title. The person playing Johnny Shand Kidd is known as Gavin. Sometimes when he's being Johnny, he's given a chin dimple, Gavin uses multiple aliases. Here Gavin is being Johnny, Earl Spencer's stepbrother, and Johnny is with Tilda Swinton. The Spencer swindle has involved many actors. Another of Gavin's aliases is Peregrine Worsthorne, the fake Toff. The Guinnesses own multiple publishers, publish Burke's Peerage, and can fabricate peerages. Peter Shan Kidd's fictional background prior to marrying Earl Spencer's mother Frances includes him being married to an actress called Janet Munro Kerr. Jonathan Guinness does not play the young Peter Shan Kidd. Frank Skinner is the face of the young Peter Shand Kidd. The 8th Earl Spencer was Prince Harry's grandfather. The Earl is depicted here with his second wife, Rain, and Rain's background is as fictional as Peter Shand Kidd's background. The Earl was deceived into marrying her as part of a larger plot of extortion against the Spencer family. That is ongoing. Who Rain really was and the effort she went to in order to harm the Spencer family is discussed in the next video. If you can, please bring this material to the attention of Earl Spencer and Prince Harry. High treason, organized by media and by marriage. For more shocking revelations regarding organized crime committed against the Spencer family, please visit @Dreadnought now.